Dear students and other viewers, as you know that we are learning measures of dispersion, and there are different methods of measuring dispersion of any given statistical series, statistical data. And in our previous lecture we have completed that how to calculate value of range in case of individual series and in case of discrete series. And in this lecture we will discuss how to calculate, how to find out value of range when there is continuous series, when there is frequency distribution. इसके दो मेथड्स है. जो फर्स्ट मेथड है वो है range is equal to upper limit of highest class interval. Highest class interval minus lower limit of lowest class interval. Highest value minus lowest value, and highest value here means the upper limit of highest class interval, and lowest value or smallest value means lower limit of lowest class interval. And coefficient of range will be equal to upper limit of highest class interval h minus lower limit of lowest class interval, or we can say smallest class interval, divided by upper limit of highest class interval plus lower limit of lowest class interval. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हमारे पास जो डेटा है वो है मार्क्स ऑफ सम स्टूडेंट्स इन सब्जेक्ट उर्दू ऑफ क्लास 11th, and the class intervals of these marks is given as 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. Number of students falling in these different marks groups, which also means frequency of this variable marks in Urdu. It can be denoted by F, and it is given as suppose 5, 10 and 6. Solution will be that first we will calculate the range, then coefficient of range. Range denoted by R, इसका जो फॉर्मूला वो है अपर लिमिट ऑफ हाईएस्ट क्लास इंटरवल. यहाँ पे जो हाईएस्ट क्लास इंटरवल है वो है 30 to 40. इसका जो अपर लिमिट है, दिस इज लोअर लिमिट, दिस इज द अपर लिमिट, इसका जो अपर लिमिट है वो है 40 माइनस लोअर लिमिट ऑफ लोवेस्ट क्लास इंटरवल. Among these three class intervals, the lowest class interval is 10 to 20, और इसका जो लोअर लिमिट है वो है 10. its upper limit is 20, and we have to write the lower limit of lowest class interval, which is equal to 10, and it will be equal to 30. The range will be equal to 30. And coefficient of range from the same data will be equal to coefficient of range upper limit of highest class interval minus lower limit of lowest class interval divided by upper limit of highest class interval plus lower limit of lowest class interval. It will be equal to 40 minus 10, the upper limit of highest class interval, that is equal to 40, and lower limit of lowest class interval, that is equal to 10, divided by upper limit of highest class interval, that is 40, plus lower limit of lowest class interval, that is 10. It will be equal to 30 divided by 50, and it will be equal to 0.6. The coefficient of range will be equal to 0.6. Now we will learn second method for calculating value of range. फर्स्ट मेथड था और अब हम सेकंड मेथड पढ़ेंगे. जो सेकंड मेथड है वो है द डिफरेंस बिटवीन हाईएस्ट मिड वैल्यू and lowest mid value. Formula for calculating value of range in second method is highest or largest mid value. We can write highest or largest mid value minus lowest, or we can write smallest mid value, and coefficient of range will be equal to highest mid value minus lowest mid value divided by highest mid value plus lowest, or we can write smallest mid value. This is the second method for calculating value of range and coefficient of range. For example, हमारे पास जो डेटा है वो यही है, सेम डेटा है, marks in Urdu, and this is given in class intervals. I will write again this data, marks in subject to Urdu of class 11th, and it is given as 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. And number of students, that is its frequency, is given as 5, 10 and 6. 5, 10 and 6. One more important point you have to remember, as I have already discussed at this point in my previous lecture, that is range in case of discrete series. The point is that in case of discrete series or in case of frequency distribution or continuous series, we do not take into account the frequency of the data. The value of range is not determined, it is not calculated on the basis of given frequency, but on the basis of given variable. यहाँ पे हम फ्रीक्वेंसी नहीं लेते हैं in calculation of range or coefficient of range. These are given in class intervals. First we have to convert this class interval into mid values. जो इसका first step होगा वो होगा calculation of mid value. Marcus, which is given as 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and number of students. In place of number of students we can write frequency of the variable Marcus. F is the frequency which shows the number of students falling in these different Marcus groups: 5, 10 and 6. And in this case we have to calculate mid value, midpoint of this data, mid value. And mid value is equal to mid value. It is obtained with the help of this formula: lower limit plus upper limit of each class interval divided by 2. L is lower limit, U is upper limit. These are the lower limits and these are the upper limits. They are added together divided by 2. Lower limit is 10, upper limit is 20. 10 plus 20 is equal to 30 divided by 2. It will be equal to 15. Lower limit plus upper limit 20 plus 30 it is equal to 50 divided by 2. It will be equal to 25. Similarly, lower limit is 30, upper limit is 40. 30 plus 40 divided by 2, it will be equal to 70 divided by 2, it will be equal to 35. Now, range is equal to highest mid value. This is the highest or largest mid value minus lowest mid value, or we can say smallest mid value, L, or minus H minus L, highest mid value, or we can say largest mid value minus smallest or lowest mid value. It will be equal to 35 minus 15. 35 minus 15 and it will be equal to 20. And coefficient of range is equal to highest mid value minus lowest mid value divided by highest mid value plus lowest mid value. Highest mid value is 35 minus lowest mid value is 15 divided by highest mid value is 35 plus lowest mid value is 15. It will be equal to 20. 20 divided by 35 plus 15, it will be equal to 50. This and this will cancel, it will be equal to 0.4 coefficient of range. When we apply the second method, that in that case we take the highest and lowest values of mid value. We first convert the continuous series, the frequency distribution, and in that case we have to change the data, the class intervals into mid values. उसके बाद हम calculate करते हैं range and coefficient of range with the help of this formula, that is highest value minus lowest value, and for coefficient of range highest value minus lowest value divided by highest value plus lowest value, and the highest and lowest values are in terms of mid values. And in method first, we calculate range with the help of this formula, upper limit of highest class interval minus lower limit of lowest class interval, and coefficient of range is upper limit of highest class interval minus lower limit of lowest class interval divided by upper limit of highest class interval plus lower limit of lowest class interval. And we can apply both methods to calculate value of range and coefficient of range. Now we will come to know the uses, the advantages and disadvantages, or we can say limitations of range. Uses of range. It is used in case of quality control in production. Quality control in production. That is to determine the quality production within a prescribed range, within a prescribed limit. Or we can write quality of goods, quality of commodities, quality of products to be produced within range, within limits. This is only possible when we know how to calculate the range of a statistical series showing production of goods. And it is limitation, it is disadvantage is that the main limitation of range is that the demerit of range is that it is not based on all items of a given series, of a given statistical series, statistical data series. It does not include all the values of variable. इसमें हम हर एक वैल्यू ऑफ वेरिएबल इंक्लूड नहीं करते हैं. यह है इसकी लिमिटेशन. फॉर एग्जांपल यहाँ पे हमने कैलकुलेट किया है रेंज, हमने हाईएस्ट एंड लोवेस्ट वैल्यू लिया है. बाकी जो वैल्यूज है वो हमने कैलकुलेट नहीं किया है, वो हमने इंक्लूड नहीं किया है फॉर द कैलकुलेशन ऑफ रेंज. यह है इसकी लिमिटेशन. That is, it is not based on all items of the data. It is not based on all the values of the given variable. One more point you have to remember is that if the data is given in inclusive series, in that case you have to convert inclusive series into exclusive series, into exclusive data. For that, we have already learned in many lectures how to convert inclusive series into exclusive series. Therefore, it is not necessary to repeat this exercise once again. I hope you can do it by taking some example. Thanks.